We have partnered with a world-renowned RF designer. They have looked at our network, they've looked at what's the most efficient placement and the best location for these towers. The design that we have is so solid.
Being able to place your network where you have designed your network means that the customer will have faster data. The customer will communicate better, which is ultimately what the goal should be.
We are ready. Turn us on.
APLP MP blasts government Stronger Bahamas initiative. This is the state finance minister insists there's nothing political about it. A man shot dead in Yellow Elder Gardens. We've got those stories and more coming up tonight. I'm Dana Smith, and NV12 Weekend starts right now. Tonight, government's new Stronger Bahamas initiative is nothing more than a sleek and glitzy public relations campaign, according to Fort Charlotte MP Dr. Andre Rollins. Rollins, who is no stranger to criticizing his own party, said rather than getting stronger, the Bahamas is growing weaker, and it appears Bahamians are no better off now than they were when this Christie administration first took office. The Fort Charlotte MP said the Stronger Bahamas initiative smacks of political campaigning, and it's unnecessary considering government already has avenues it can use to get its message out there.
The fact of the matter is that for many Bahamians, the Bahamas is not getting stronger. It's growing weaker by the day. And no amount of political propaganda or expenditure on sleek, glitzy public relations exercises is going to change that reality.
Government has hired a Canadian firm to manage Stronger Bahamas. State Finance Minister Michael Halkitis confirmed the firm has done work for other government agencies in the past. Rollins said the country has extremely talented Bahamians who are capable of doing exactly what is purported to be the role of this foreign entity, and accused government of not living up to its election campaign pledge to believe in Bahamians.
I do believe that it smacks of political campaigning. I think that we have already the vehicles to promote government public relations. Those vehicles are Bahamas Information Services and the Broadcasting Corporation of the Bahamas. There's absolutely no need to have a separate public relations arm for the government, particularly one that is primarily profiting a foreign entity.
Rollins said the Stronger Bahamas initiative is an attempt by the Christie administration to shift from its old election campaign into its new one.
If we say, particularly with the former election campaign, that we believe in Bahamians, then we have to demonstrate that. This is not a demonstration in the belief of the Bahamian people or belief in the Bahamian people. This is in fact a repudiation of that, where we are once again demonstrating that we don't believe Bahamians have the wherewithal to put together a first-class public relations campaign.
Rollins said rather than trying to promote a perception that doesn't fit in with reality through what Rollins called government's latest PR campaign, the Christie administration should focus on fixing the issues affecting the nation.
There's been an attempt to transition from the campaign slogan of believing in Bahamians to now building a stronger Bahamas. And as I said earlier, I just don't believe that the facts bear out that suggestion. I believe that the country is no stronger today than it was in 2012 with respect to crime, level of employment in particular.
The Stronger Bahamas website went live during the Prime Minister's budget communication. According to the site, Stronger Bahamas seeks to engage Bahamians on what is being done by government to address the nation's biggest challenges.
To be successful or effective, it's going to require that Bahamians are actually experiencing an improvement in their day-to-day lives with respect to the security situation. Crime is getting worse. The statistics bear that out. The level of unemployment has not improved, or the level of employment rather has not improved. More and more Bahamians, particularly young Bahamians, are out of work. And the fact is that for Bahamians, they see that as being a deterioration in the state of affairs in this country.
While he acknowledged the controversy surrounding the Stronger Bahamas campaign, Minister of State for Finance Michael Halkitis insisted there is no political motivation behind its unveiling. He said if given a chance, Stronger Bahamas can be the foundation of a national development plan and policies. Paige McCartney reports.
Since its rollout, the government's public relations campaign has been labeled shameless propaganda, with the opposition calling it a campaign to distract the public from the gross incompetence of the Christie administration. Prime Minister Perry Christie announced Stronger Bahamas during his 2015-2016 budget communication. In fact, the covers of the budget books were plastered in the Stronger Bahamas logo. Since the announcement, government has postponed its official launch event. However, radio, television, print, and social media ads continue to run. Critics say it's eerily similar to the PLP's 2012 election campaign, Believe in Bahamians, and called Stronger Bahamas the launch of the PLP's 2017 election campaign. But Halkitis told MB12 it's all about getting Bahamians involved in creating a national development plan.
We understand there might have been a little initial controversy, but I think once people began to interact, have their thoughts brought forward and input, it will be successful. The government cannot govern in isolation. We believe we have some good policies that would make the Bahamas stronger. We want to be able to bring those to the people where they get their news. So we have to not only look at the traditional media, we have to look at all media, and we have to be able to communicate with people and have them have their say.
The government has allocated $3.8 million to the Office of the Prime Minister for advertisement and media supplements. Halkitis has said that money will go toward funding Stronger Bahamas. While the Stronger Bahamas website lists government's accomplishments over the past 3 years under Progressive Liberal Party leadership, Halkitis said the initiative is not just about promoting what government has done.
It's also an initiative to get feedback, and interactive feedback from citizens, so we can have a national discussion, so to speak. The idea is that we include those contributions into the development of the National Development Plan, something that is well received and something that the citizens have been calling for a long time.
Halkitis is asking Bahamians to give it a chance, despite the scrutiny government is under for using taxpayer money to fund the effort, especially once it was revealed that a Canadian firm had been hired to spearhead the campaign.
The idea is to get people involved, right? We want to get our message out. We want people to understand what the government is doing. This is another medium to do so. We have other traditional medium, but we know people get their news. They do their interaction online, social media, etc. So we have to be able to speak to them in those fora. And what will determine the success is that when we have this national conversation where the government is putting its views, we have people responding and proposing other ideas, and then we can take that exchange and develop policy for the betterment of the country.
So far, Halkitis said the campaign has been well received, with many Bahamians giving their input. He called it a good initiative that will benefit Bahamians in the long run. Reporting for MB12 Weekend, I'm Paige McCartney.
A man was shot and killed in Yellow Elder Gardens last night, and police are now on the hunt for his killer. According to police, the victim was sitting in front of a friend's home at Graham Drive in Doyle Street around 10 p.m. when a man armed with a handgun shot him multiple times before fleeing on foot. The victim was pronounced dead at the scene. Police are appealing to anyone with information regarding this latest murder to contact them anonymously at 919 or Crime Stoppers at 328-TIPS. Well, one United States official has voiced concern over the amount of time it takes for wanted criminals to be extradited to the United States from the Bahamas. Roberta S. Jacobson, United States Assistant Secretary of State for Western Hemisphere Affairs, said some cases have been pending for a long time and the U.S. would like to see some movement on them. Jacobson, who spoke to the press while in town for the Caribbean Basin Security Initiative, noted extradition is an incredible tool in the fight against crime.
There are some cases here which have been pending for a very long time, and we would like to see those move forward. They do seem like they have taken a very long time, but I think the fact is that we continue to work very cooperatively with our colleagues here in the Bahamas, including with the Attorney General's office, and it's most important that we continue moving forward and working on these issues so as to try and send the message that all of the cooperation that we do is a very clear message, and I think the Bahamian government has been very clear about this, that cooperation will frankly be dangerous for criminals.
Jacobson was speaking generally and did not point to a specific case. Her words come about a month after the NASA Guardian's National Review revealed extradition files for as many as 12 men wanted by the United States have gone missing, and various extradition requests seem to have long fallen off the radar. When asked, Jacobson admitted things are not moving fast enough, but she noted the U.S. government does understand the intricacies associated with the extradition process.
The issue of whether things are being done fast enough, I would say from most officials' perspective, it's never fast enough. We would always like to see things go faster. We understand that systems work differently and different countries have different protections or appeals processes or length of time.
Jacobson explained concern over potential extradition to the U.S. can be very, very powerful in changing the behavior of accused criminals.
The bottom line on extradition issues is the example of and the fact of extradition, whether it's to the United States or elsewhere, is one of the most powerful deterrents on criminality, because the fact is criminal actors, especially transnational criminal actors, find places to hide, as it were, places where they can operate, thinking that they not only may not go to prison in that country, but they won't, in fact, be extradited to a place they might, in fact, fear worse.
In other news, the former parliamentary secretary in the Ministry of Housing is calling government's claims to have acquired nearly 300 affordable homes for Bahamians over the past 3 years alarming and unacceptable. Brenzel Rollins said while he endorses the creation of low-cost homes, it must be done in a fiscally responsible way. He is referring to Bahamas Mortgage Corporation Chairman Alex Storr's assertion that government helped more than 200 Bahamians acquire private loans. Rollins said he is concerned by the apparent shift in policy at the corporation.
To say to the public today that we have invested over $24 million of basically public money through the Mortgage Corporation to private home developers or private persons seeking mortgage, it represents an alarming shift in public policy, away from the traditional government way of doing things. It cannot be acceptable to invest $24 million in a private subdivision or two private homeowners to the detriment and the neglect of your own subdivisions where you have houses that are still vacant, where houses have been vandalized and you have to constantly repair them, where you lack the ability to place persons in houses for 3 years.
Rollins is questioning why government is pledging to construct 1,000 new homes, as announced by Prime Minister Perry Christie during his budget communication, when dozens of homes constructed under the Ingram administration remain empty on Abaco, Grand Bahama, and New Providence.
So every subdivision that a house was built in under the Free National Movement, where the houses were assigned and persons had their mortgages in place, when the government came to office, they determined that the former administration must have used the wrong formula or must have identified the wrong people. So they told the majority of persons who had made their payments that they had to start the process all over. That has resulted in the fact that many homes are still vacant. Persons have not been able to qualify for loans.
Prime Minister Perry Christie has said the issuance of $100 million in bonds has been approved by the Mortgage Corporation for the new housing program. Former BMC Chairman Dr. Dwayne Sands has called the move irresponsible considering the precarious financial state of the corporation. Roll echoed that position.
If you've borrowed, for example, $3 million from NIB in the 3 years that you have been at the mortgage corporation, and only one person is in the house, that means the interest rate that's accumulated on that loan from the mortgage department is astronomical. And so the government must demonstrate, firstly, that it could identify qualified Bahamians to put in these homes.
Up to last year, Housing Minister Kenrick Dorsett said 44 homes had been constructed. During his contribution to the 2014-2015 budget debate, he said government was in the process of constructing 390 homes and that 22 additional homes had been constructed in the Strawns Hill subdivision. He has said he will provide an update on how many homes have been constructed during his budget debate contribution.